Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Jacob6875 here. This is going to be my review of Gran Turismo 5 for the PlayStation 3. I just wanted to warn everyone before I started, there will be spoilers in this review. It is a racing game, so it's not like there can really be gigantic spoilers, but I just wanted to warn everyone before I get started that if you want to be surprised by like winning prize cards and stuff, I might ruin it for you. Anyway, on to the game. Okay, so after you watch the opening cinematic, this is the first screen that you're greeted with, and there's these four different modes that you can enter into on the bottom here. The first one is GT mode, which is a standard career mode. I'll be going in depth with that in a little bit. Then you have arcade mode here. This is basically just you have a bunch of tracks. There's 25 random cars, you can drive on them, and just to screw around with a friend, or two-player split screens in there. You can also import 50 cars from your PSP version of Gran Turismo if you want to. You cannot import anything from Gran Turismo 5 Prologue, which is kind of disappointing. Then here you have the course maker. I'll go into it real quick, show you what it is. This is new to the Gran Turismo series. I also want to say the load times in this game are very long. Okay, now you can pick what surface you want. This is a standard racetrack here. Yeah, about the load times, they are very long. Even after you do the optional, it takes like 40-50 minute install time. It's not required, but it does speed up load times. And this is a very limited track maker. What you're supposed to do is determine how many sectors you want. Then you can modify each sector, how difficult you want it to be, how sharp the corners you want. And then after you do that, you go down to you click this button and it randomly generates you a track. So if you were hoping you could make your favorite track, it's really not possible. You just have to do this, hope you get one you like, and then you can go test drive it from any of your cars that you have marked as favorites from your your GT Life mode, or they pick 3 random cars from the arcade mode you can test. Yes, I want to exit. I mean, it's a cool feature to have, but it's way too limited to be of really any use. You just have to keep randomly making courses and hope that the one you create is good after you test drive it. And it's still loading. Okay, this is Gran Turismo TV. It has the same clips that you had in Prologue, which you can probably watch on their website. Currently it's just the person who made the game visiting various auto shows and picking out cars for the Polyphony Digital Award, which appear in the game. And you got the manual options, and you can save your game. Now, so I'll go into GT mode now. Okay, saving your game is, I don't even know why they have that, because this game auto-saves after every little thing that you do, and there's no way to turn it off that I have found, or I've looked online, they have not found it either. Alright, so since this is the racing game, I'll start by showing you the cars. There's over 1,000 cars. I think the exact number is 1,031. But I'm sure, as you've heard by now, there are only 200 and about 20 premium cars, and the rest are standard cars. Now, the premium cars I'll just go into a random dealership here. Let's go into Aston Martin. Premium cars have full cockpit views. The outside is shinier. I mean, they're in full detail. They have working wipers and working headlights, all that type of stuff. So here you have all your various dealers, and at the end here are cars that either they picked at various auto shows to be in the game, or cars made up by Gran Turismo themselves. Now this looks like a giant selection of manufacturers here, but as I showed you with the Aston Martin, some only have one car in them. And my biggest problem is that this game seems to focus on Japanese cars way more than American cars. See, I'll go into the Ford dealership and I'll compare it. So you got also the models are out of date. It's almost like this game was completed like 2 years ago with their car lists. So you have a Ford Focus from 2006, and you have a 2007 Mustang. I mean, you don't have the new Mustang, which came out, I guess it's this year, which is pretty disappointing since it had a new engine and everything. You got a 71 Mustang, a rally car Focus from 2008, 2006 Ford GT. I mean, I don't understand why I don't have the new models of these cars in the game. Then you have a 1967 race car, which is a ridiculous price, no one will buy. And you got a couple NASCARs. Now, when you compare that to a Japanese dealer, say Nissan, let's try them. Look at the giant amount of cars that Nissan has compared to Ford. I mean, I don't even know what this car is, but they have a 1990 Silvia, and these are premium cars. They have 1990 Silvia as a premium car. I mean, you got an '02 Silvia, an '89 300ZX, and I mean the amount of Skylines in this game are ridiculous. This is just one of them. Another Skyline, 350Z, another Skyline, another Skyline, another Z, another Skyline. I mean, then the GTR is ridiculous too. I mean, you have the GTR prototype. You have a 2000 GTR, 2007 GTR. You have a GTR Black Mask Edition. I don't even know what that is. And you have an '09 Spec V GTR. Then you got all of these race cars too. I mean, the amount of attention paid to Japanese auto dealers in this game is just way ridiculous. I mean, Ford, why do we not have the new SHO, the Ford Taurus SHO? It's one of the big cars missing from there. We don't have the new Fiesta. I mean, there's a million cars. For example, in Chevy, I'll show you another one. I mean, in Chevy, there's no Cobalt SS, which is disappointing. They do have the 2010 Camaro and 3 Corvettes, '09, '06, and '04. Again, and then a bunch of NASCARs. I mean, they don't have the Cobalt SS, which is pretty shocking. And there's also no Porsche in this game at all. So that's another major disappointment. There's no Hyundai or Kia or Cadillac, no new Cadillacs or Saturns. Like the Saturn, that 2-seat Roadster, same as a Plymouth. I mean, there's no Plymouth either for premium cars anyway, which is extremely disappointing. But I mean, if you go into another Japanese dealer, you got, this stupid car that no one will ever drive, and then 4 versions of the Lancer. I mean, there's only like 4 versions of the Ford Mustang, which has been built since the '60s, but we got 4 versions of the Lancer from, since '95? And that's just a bit silly. But anyway, those are the premium cars. I mean, there's also 2 versions of the Mini Cooper, an '05 and '07, but not the new Mustang. That's just, it doesn't make any sense to me. And then these are the used cars. This is where you're going to find the other 800 cars in the game, besides the ones you can win in various races. Now, what happens here is they only show 40 at a time. So you have to basically be lucky to get the car that you want. And it is kind of frustrating because there's some races where the only cars available for those races are here. You have to buy them. These only change. You get about 6 updates every time you go into a race. Like there's a loading screen for a race. So basically, you have to check the used car dealership after every race to hopefully get lucky. I mean, and most of these cars are completely useless. Like, I don't even know why they're in the game. Like, here's an example. No one will ever buy this car. 15 horsepower Subaru. Then we got stuff like the Nissan Cube from 2002, which, again, these cars no one would buy. I mean, I really wish they would have spent a little more time with the premium cars and got rid of like half those standard cars. Okay, so next you got your 2 main game modes up here. You have A-Spec, which is where you drive, and B-Spec, where you train someone to drive. You don't actually drive your car. I'll go into A-Spec first, since this is a main part of the game. You have your different racing leagues. Now, these unlock every 5 levels. Level 0, that's the other main change with the game. There's a level-based system now. as you see at the top there, by A, I'm level 25. And then the next one is credits. I have 2 million, and the car I'm currently in is the Zonda. And then there's a time up there in the upper right-hand corner. So these are the various racing leagues. You have to level up, as you can see in the beginner here. You can do these first two only when you start the game. Then when you get level 1, you can do this. Then level 2, 3, and so on. And then every 5 levels, a new series unlocks. And these are just the typical Gran Turismo game modes. I mean, you shouldn't really be surprised. They've all pretty much had these. Professional, expert, and then see, this is one of the issues right here. This historic supercar festival. See, right here is a new feature they added. You can see your typical opponents you get in the game. And I believe for this you have to have a car built before 1969. But as you can see, they have 800 horsepower and weigh 600 kilograms. Is going to be one of the cars you face. So, and when you click entry requirements, you can see. And then another nice feature they have is you can directly go to your garage, and it'll show you all your cars you have that meet those requirements. Premium, and then all the standard cars that meet those requirements right there. And the problem with this race is you basically have to buy a car at a used car dealership to run it in order to be competitive. And I think the cheapest one you can use is like 3 million credits. So I mean, it seems kind of silly to do that for one race. And here's the extreme events, which really are not that extreme, to be honest. Here's the one NASCAR race, which is, I mean, I get they added it to the game, but it's just one series. But this is another silly move that doesn't make any sense. It's an example of how poor the new leveling system is. I mean, you see this is level 23 right here. So when you turn level 23, you see you unlock the American Championship, which is only 2 races. So you get maybe 15,000 experience out of 150,000 or whatever it took that level to level. And then you got this, which you think, well, great, it's a bunch of races, 20 laps each. The only problem is the only car you can enter is a Formula Gran Turismo F1 car. Now you can only buy this from the used car dealership for about 5 million credits, which there's no way you're going to have at this stage in the game, really. And yeah, I mean, you can't. And another thing, the car is level 24, so you can't even. It's impossible to do this race until you're level 24, but you get it at level 23. So you're basically stuck running this about 15 times, Laguna Seca here, because it's the fastest way, to get from level, 23 to 24. I mean, it's a very strange game design. It's the Dream Championship there, which was pretty easy. I mean, all these, it's typical Gran Turismo difficulty. If you have the right car, it's completely simple. It's a joke. But if you don't, it can be pretty much impossible. And then when you get 25, you unlock the endurance events. I mean, the only one I can do is 300-kilometer Grand Valley, which I think is 60 laps. Then you have 4-hour... What is that? I have to drive a Miata for 4 hours. That's awesome. 200 miles of Laguna Seca, Indy 500. I mean, look at these levels. I mean, I doubt this one race will get me all the way from 25 to 26. So what am I supposed to do to get to 26? Go back to grinding Laguna Seca some more? I mean, same here. I'm going to have to... And then 28 to 30, and then 30 to 32. I mean, okay, these races at the bottom here are just slightly ridiculous. I really hope you can save your game, because if not, I don't know what they were really thinking. I mean, a 9-hour race, then these are 24-hour races. I mean, I can't look at them yet because I have to be level 35 to even look at them, which is just silly. And also, this race right here is going to be a complete joke. I mean, look at this. The hardest car is going to have 341 horsepower. I mean, I have cars now that are 1,000. I have like multiple cars that are 1,000 horsepower. Okay, so that's A-Spec, which is pretty much the same as your normal Gran Turismo.